All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Monday Night Live. It is Neil and Greg from Matterhorn Business Development. We come live every Monday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So welcome back to this week's. It is June 14th at 7 o'clock. We are here. Dad, welcome.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you. Happy to be back.
Yep.
Here we are again.
Yep. If you guys missed last week's live stream, you should check that out. That was a lot of fun. That was me, Greg, and Abby, my sister, and the three of us talked about our stories, how we ended up where we are working together, our backgrounds, things of that nature. That was a lot of fun, and that was a really just kind of a different type of a live stream where we talked about really about us for a while.
Yeah.
You got to see the banter between us. It really almost was like a live look into our weekly staff meeting with how we interact with each other, how we have fun, how we, all that kind of stuff.
And you learn a lot about the kids and how their mom and I raised them. And I think it has a lot to do with how everybody's doing so well today.
Yep. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Also, big news for the channel. We passed 6,000 subscribers. What was it? A day or two ago?
Yeah, over the weekend.
We're at 6,050, which is fantastic. We appreciate everybody here subscribing and leaving comments, talking to us down below. We are averaging about 18 subscribers a day. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes just a little bit down, but a really bad day, it was 12 in the last month. So we really are 18, 20 subscribers a day kind of thing. So that's really cool. So we appreciate everybody there. We'd love to hear feedback from you as well. So feel free to leave comments or things like that in the videos of other things that you'd like us to talk about in the live stream, things of that nature. Also, I will say, Dad, there's a couple of things that must be coming back into the news.
What's that?
The AB5 and PRO Act have started getting mean comments again, which means for some reason the PRO Act must be moving forward or doing something again, because we haven't gotten any mean comments on a while from that. And then we got hit with like 7 in a row in the last 24 hours. Somebody called us, somebody's comment was 2 bananas. I'm not really sure what that means. I'm actually not sure what that means. And actually, I just realized that the 2 bananas comment was actually not from a PRO Act video. It was actually from our video, how we thought working from home was not going to last. And you know what's funny is that's exactly what we're here to talk about tonight.
I love it. I love it. I wish we had that guy's email to send this episode to him.
Who's the banana now, Cherry Low?
Boy, that's motivation now.
I just gotta say, I don't know what calling somebody a banana represents. Potato is a thing. If you call somebody potato, that's a thing. But bananas, I've never heard of 2 bananas. So maybe he's saying how smart we are. That could be actually.
Oh, maybe it's a compliment.
I agree, Cherry Low. We are 2 bananas. That's very good. So anyway, we've gotten a lot of hate.
Are bananas smarter than potatoes is the question.
Yeah.
I think they are.
Another good comment was, wow, business owners don't want a bill to pass which would help workers make more money. Color me surprised. So apparently Fancy Hen obviously knows nothing about the AB5 Act, because our exact reason for hating on AB5 was because it actually causes people to make less money and lose their jobs.
Right.
So take it from the 2 bananas here. We do know what we're talking about. So,
boy, you have to know a banana to call somebody a banana, right? It's like,
wow, these comments are getting heated, huh?
Be a banana to call somebody a banana, maybe.
Yeah. So we did a video. I'm gonna pull it up and just look at the date that we did it on. It was during, peak pandemic times. It was in. When did this go up? Come on. For some reason, you would think that would be a lot easier to find. Okay, so it looks like we put this video up in January.
January of
So,
this year.
yeah, so it wasn't during the pandemic. It was January, but
not peak.
not peak. But we talked about how the working from home phenomena was not going to last forever. And that's why we were called two bananas, by the way, is because we didn't think that working from home was a viable solution for a long-term human race solution, which is really what we're talking about. Is we're talking about people. And so today, if I'm honest, 10 minutes ago, I found an article on Bloomberg. It was a long day today. I didn't have time to do my research. So I found an article 10 minutes ago, and it's in Bloomberg News, and it says, fed up young workers fear they need offices to save their careers. Fears of stunted careers and struggles with loneliness are driving many back to their desks. Boom. That's exactly what we talked about in that video, is that people like being around people. People like working with people. We are not supposed to be, as a race, locked away into individualities. We are supposed to work as a group to solve problems. And so what we said in January was that everybody was kind of overreacting to, selling your office space, getting rid of your work, making everybody just go virtual and just riding the virtual model forever. I didn't think that that was going to work for everybody. In fact, we said that that would only work for people who are disengaged from their jobs and don't want to work with other people anyway. And now they just have an excuse to stay at home and do nothing. And that's pretty much what we're talking about here, is that people want to be around other people. No human wants to be alone. Even a human that wants to be alone will always rather be with another human who wants to be alone than by themselves. That's an interesting thought there. Two people would rather sit next to each other and act like the other one doesn't exist than be by themselves. That really says something about us as people, is that we are meant to work with other people, and we're meant to problem solve, and we're meant to do these things. And so I was really fascinated by this article, because I think most people thought that it was going to be the younger generation that latched onto this COVID belief of social distancing and not working together and all that. And we're actually finding out that young people want to work. They care about their career. They care about their future, and they think that working with others is the best way to do that. So I'm going to stop talking and let you say something.
So I want to write down some of these statistics. So there were 2,000 people who were surveyed.
Yep. According to this article, 2,000 Gen Z and millennial employees in large corporations and mid-market businesses. That's a lot of terms that I don't know exactly what they're trying to tell us. But 2,000 people were surveyed. 29% said they want to work from home full-time. So 29% of these people want to stay home, which is about what we would expect.
The Gen Z and millennials, like technically you're a millennial, right? And so Gen Z.
Don't say that out loud.
Gen Z would be like 20-ish, 25, 27-ish.
Something like that.
Something like that. Okay, so 2,000 people your age and younger, 29% home full-time. What was the rest of it?
Okay, so 29% home full-time, and then it breaks it down. They have way too many categories here, but what it comes out to be is 29% home full-time, and then 22% is a hybrid of majority at home. So,
okay, that's 22. Okay, and then what was the next category?
But then basically the rest of it, which would basically be 50%, is split between office full-time, office majority time, and then a hybrid split.
Like a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
So you only have 29% that want to be at home full-time.
Yes.
Okay. And what were the reasons that they wanted to get back together?
They feel anxious about a lack of training and career opportunities when thinking long-term about the future.
Yep. Cool.
And then I guess this is a different survey. According to 6,000 people, 60% said working in a modern collegiate office environment has become more important to them over the past year because they want to be able to meet and work with colleagues in person again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I guess, a different survey in the same vein.
Yeah. So for that survey,
what that's saying is that being out of the office for as long has caused people to realize how valuable their office life is.
So how's the saying go? The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, right?
Yeah.
So they're sitting at work saying, damn, it'd be nice to be able to work at home. And then they're at home, stuck at home, having to work from home. And now they're like, it'd kind of be good to go back to the office again.
This kind of blows being here by myself, actually.
So you and I have talked about this, and sometimes we take heat for our opinions, but we've said all along that people are going to want to get back together again.
Well, it's okay. I've been called worse than a banana in the comment section on a YouTube video. So,
but this plays right along with it. Matter of fact, I even remember during the shutdown, there's a motivational speaker who I like very much, named Simon Sinek. He has written a lot of best-selling books. He sold a lot more books than I have. But he said during the comment, one of his comments during one of his Zoom group calls is, if you made your living as a public speaker, that ship has sailed. It's never coming back. And I said at the time, I disagree with that, because people are, I don't know, I'm sick of Zoom conferences, Zoom seminars, where I can't see the audience or interact with the audience. And it's going to come back. And that it's interesting because there's definitely a place in many businesses for people to be able to work at least part-time from home. Sure. We have one of our clients who had a staff member leave and did not like her job and called up and asked if she could come back, but could she work from home 2 days a week? And my client, her boss, said, absolutely, 2 days a week is fine. But then they do have staff meeting once a week. They have training day or several training hours. So she was definitely going to have to be there for that. And she's like, okay. So I think this did open the door and make it possible for people to see how they can work from home. But two things. First of all, from an employee standpoint, I think most people, and here we found at least 70%, 71% of the Gen Z and millennials admitted that they wanted to be around people. 29% said, I don't want to see anybody again.
Yeah, and then another 60% in a different survey, they
said it's more important.
Another 60% are saying how important it is to actually get back to work because they miss being around people. They miss, the interacting with other people. And that's what I said is that go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so from an employer standpoint, it's okay, but there needs to be a way to monitor production. There has to be some report, some software, some way for the owner to know the production is getting done. And I've always been about production. Like, can we hit our numbers so that I can pay the bills and have a solvent business? And I'll just give you an example. So there was a summer where one of my staff members wanted to have, we were working Monday through Thursday, and her kids were very active in softball and volleyball and some other clubs and such. And I had a staff member that wanted to take a day off, another day off. So she was proposing Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I'm like, well, that just isn't going to work and have me be able to pay the bills. She said, well, not so fast. And she had already figured it out that if we came in 30 minutes early, we cut our lunch down by 30 minutes, we would actually only lose 3.5 hours a week if we took Wednesday off. And she already had talked to the other staff, and the office would still be open with somebody there to answer the phone, route emergencies, take a payment if somebody walked in. So the office would still be open 4 days, but we would be working an equivalent of 3.5. I said, okay, great. For the summer, we're going to do that. And I gave them a number. I sat down and with my profit and loss statement, we must hit this number. And if we don't hit this number, then we're going to have to work an extra day. And I kept the bonus in for the same numbers. And it's really interesting because if we went down, we were going to have to work a day to at least hit the baseline number. We never went under the number.
Wow.
We never went under the number. And so then school starts up again. I'm like, okay, back to the regular schedule. And everybody goes, why?
Yeah.
I was paying them for 4 days and they were only working 3.5 days, but we're actually meet our numbers. And so I'm like, I agree.
Keep it going.
I agree with you. So I'm all about the production. And if somebody can be at home and make the same production, then by all means, I think that's fine.
And I'm going to say it in a less politically correct way than you are. I'm going to say that there are certain very non-essential personnel that probably gain absolutely nothing to the organization by driving in their car and showing up to work. In fact, their super non-friendly demeanor is probably more harming than anything, but somebody needs to sit there and do X, Y, and Z in the computer every day or else the whole place shuts down. Good. Those people can stay at home. Yep. The sales guys, the leaders, the thinkers, the motivated individuals, they should be in there pounding, working together, maybe not 40 hours a week, right? Mm-hmm. But they need to be all working together and getting more things done as a team. And I think the non-essentials who have the stuff to do that's not super important, they want to work from home, fine.
Maybe it's super important, but it doesn't take a lot of human interaction.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said the team, I still think that there needs to be a team meeting, person to person, in face, everybody there. That's what I've always done. The part-time people, the part-time people had to be there on Monday because that's when we had our team meeting. So they had to plan on being in the office for an hour and a half every Monday at this time. That was just part of their regular work week so that everybody was together. And then outside of that, we had other functions and events that we put on for the practice and such when everybody was there. So I think there does still need to be that interaction and that morale that needs to be built.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And there should always be that weekly team meeting. Obviously, you and I know way too many people who don't have a team meeting at all. So, yes, right. There should be a weekly team meeting with everybody in person. And if you have remote workers, everybody should at least come in for a little bit of time. But I am now more open. I will say I am now more open than I was before the pandemic about a hybrid working environment. I think everybody has gotten to see how a hybrid type system can work. I wouldn't have really wanted that or thought that would be a great thing more than a year ago. But now I can see where the hybrid is. But I'm not the type of person who thinks that you can get away with a few hours a week of face-to-face interaction with everybody. I think it should be majority of the time.
And that being said, what just happened?
One of the cats just jumped off my lap and ripped my headphones off halfway off my head.
So obviously, I mean, there are tech companies that have their staff scattered all around the world.
Yeah, I can understand that.
That would obviously be an exception. So there are no absolutes. But I think what needs to be done by leadership, by ownership, is survey, like this survey was done, survey your employees, and then find out how it could be done as a hybrid. I'd be all for that.
Yeah.
If it works in your industry.
Yeah, obviously it's different from place to place, but I think the average small business, which is really the people that we're probably communicating and
Mm-hmm.
resonating more with.
Yeah.
The average small business is probably something that can get by with a small amount of hybrid time, but pretty much being in office the most and having the
Mm-hmm.
most to gain from it that way. I
Yep.
think the larger the larger the organization or company, the easier it is to be hybrid because you already have so many people filling in for other people in so many other different ways. But I think a smaller business needs that team working together because they kind of have to be powerful as a smaller group and as a smaller
Mm-hmm.
dynamic. But I just like this article is because it says what we knew about people, which is that people like to work together. People like to interact with each other. People like to solve problems together. People want to grow and expand their careers. And that's what these articles are saying. And if it's true that this younger generation is feeling that they want to be at work and they want to do that, I'm actually surprised by that. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I think that that's a good thing.
Well, and I think one thing that has come about with COVID is we've definitely had to think outside the box. What we thought we couldn't do or wouldn't work before the lockdown, I think it validates the innovation of leadership, the innovation of management, the innovation of the employees' labor, so to speak, that for the most part, it was figured out. And I just read an article today, and I don't remember who it was. They're crushing 2020 numbers. They're crushing 2019 numbers. And we've even got our friend Neil, who half of the staff, they figured out how to keep half the staff busy from home, and then once things opened up, they called half the staff back, and they just did more with half the staff than they did prior to the lockdown.
Yeah.
With the whole company.
Yeah.
I'll stay out of specifics for specific reasons, but I mean, if that 30% who doesn't want to go into the office, I don't know, maybe that's the 30% that was kind of holding the place back. It's something to think about.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And that's why we weren't surprised when 30% said they wanted to stay home, because we already know 30% of most staff in a company are ready to be let go anyway. So
they're disengaged.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more than 30%.
Right.
But yeah, I think that 30% need to go anyway. So we weren't surprised by that at all. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Anyway, so I think it's good. People are getting back to work. People are going about their business. We're realizing that we want to be together, and I don't think that you can keep people separated and locked away from people any longer. This isn't a political statement about the virus or about anything like that. I'm just simply saying that human nature is to work together, to solve problems with each other, and to work as a team. That is who we are. That's what we've always done all the way back through history. And yes, for a while, people were scared, and it was for the greater good that we locked down for a certain amount of time. But then after that wasn't really working, people just kind of were like, I want to work and be with my friends and be with my team. And I think that this article here from Bloomberg really highlights that and says that. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I don't know if you have anything else that you particularly wanted to say.
No, I think I made my point. I mean, from the executive standpoint, if we can get the production done, if we can hit our numbers, and you can work a few days from home and get the result that I'm paying you for, then I have no problem with that. But there does need to be time when we're all together, and that team spirit is fostered and cultivated. Then everybody's gonna have to give a little bit on this side of the thing. But I think in the end, we headed back towards normal. In the end, a lot of companies are coming out much stronger.
Yeah. And if you handle it right, obviously you can be. But I think if you're trying to figure out which direction you want to take your business, don't jump to any conclusions just yet. If we had jumped to conclusions a year ago in the height of everything, you would have sold your office space, you would have got rid of your equipment, and then now you'd be realizing that maybe you still needed it. I think that you should always plan on having a team, having groups, having people get together. Maybe you don't need as big of a space as you did before and you can downsize. Okay, that's fine. Maybe your office turns more into a training center, an orientation center, where for people for the first 3, 4, 5 months they're on the job, they have a place to work from and be supervised and get into the groove, and then you send them on their way. Okay, I can understand that too. But I don't think that we're ready for everything to just be virtual forever. And I don't
Agreed.
think we would see a massive decline in everything.
Agreed.
I think all companies would have a decline. So anyway, that's all I have to say for this week. What about you? Yeah?
Yeah. No, I think that's it for tonight.
Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for this. This was like a live stream newsroom episode. We haven't really done a newsroom episode in a while because the news articles have gotten progressively, terribly, even worse written in the last year than they were before that. But this was an article that I found interesting and kind of highlighted that. And then I did think it was funny that we just got a comment on the video where we talked about this being the case, and we got called bananas as a result, which I'm still not really sure what that's
Neil
about.
And I want to thank everyone for joining Two Bananas tonight. We should rename the show.
This is the Two Bananas live stream.
An evening with Two Bananas.
That's a good idea. In fact,
live stream.
I am going to leave a nice comment for the person, letting them know that we appreciate the comment, that we used it in our live stream, that we got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
And without their amazing sense of humor and graciousness to mankind, we would not have achieved that product. So we appreciate their comment.
That's right. Absolutely.
Otherwise, for everybody else, we will see you next week, Monday night at 7 o'clock, where we may or may not have a better topic to talk about. If you have...
Well, we're working on something. We just have to get our guests to arrive.
Yeah, we have some good guests that we're trying to get lined up, and it's just a matter of getting schedules to align. So maybe next Monday we will have a guest, which would be great. Otherwise, it'll be us again. And if you have a particular comment, if you have a particular comment or anything that you'd like us to talk about, please give us a comment. I didn't get any comments here tonight, which is unusual. Normally we get a few extras, but we appreciate you all for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next week on the Monday Night Live. Good night.